Hi, I'm Lisa Michaels, live with Lisa Michaels Show. And I just want to do a quick update. I probably know almost as much as anyone about the election integrity and election fraud. This has been my pet issue since 2000, since I first discovered that they were committing election fraud using the newly instituted all vote by mail system in the state of Oregon, which was the very first state to do all vote by mail. What that allowed, and what apparently they've recognized, that it makes it far easier to consistently fix the elections without anyone knowing. Anyone at the elections office, just a handful of people know about it, and they fix the elections each and every time. And little telltale signs is they've gotten lazy, the Democrats, because they're the ones fixing it. And perhaps now that we've seen all the corruption on the Republican and the Democrat side through the WikiLeaks, perhaps in states like Kansas, they've been fixing it in Kansas. I believe that they did fix the primary in Kansas in Johnson County um, for two reasons. First of all, the precinct breakdown, when you break down the precincts, how many people voted in each precinct for each candidate. In the congressional race, Greg Good against Kevin Yoder, I saw a dramatic difference in the precinct breakdown in Johnson County than I did in Miami County, which Greg Good won. And on top of that, I was keeping very close tabs on exactly what the count was from the Secretary of State's and from the state county, each county reporting the results on election night. And the crooked news media was reporting that Yoder won well before the numbers that anybody, including the AP reporter that was there, that they had noticed. So this is a sign of it. This is what we learned in Oregon. In Oregon, I managed a political campaign where the candidate Lopez, they didn't want to alienate the Hispanic voters against Earl Blumenauer, who has absolutely never held a office out. He's never held a job ever. Got out of college and been elected to office ever since, and he's a multimillionaire. So the corruption is just so systemic. So I wanted to get on here. And so anyway, Lopez, the misreported the news. They gave Lopez's numbers, the Republican nominee's numbers, to a guy by the name of Lawrence, so that none of the Hispanics would know that their Lopez candidate had been beaten by Blumenauer. And so I saw that in Oregon. I came to Kansas for a huge reason because I wanted to be in a state where my vote actually counted. Now I'm concerned about that. They've got Diebold. If you looked into any of this election fraud, you know that Diebold machines are easy to fix. That's the exact, I've worked as a poll worker twice now since I've been here, and those are the exact machines. I've got a video up showing from when I worked as a poll worker, showing how the whole system works. And it's very, very easy. It could be done under the noses of the honest candidate. They fix it to where it'll pass the testing. They sub in the cards, and the cards are programmed to deliver the total. It's all in the tally and the total. See, all these machines, they'll read them that you're voting on in each individual precinct. They'll read them, and then they'll put them on this memory card. Then they'll take the memory cards all together to this one tally machine, plug it into the tally machine, and if they fix the tally machine, nobody's ever going to be the wiser. So this is a crooked company that started it all. Chuck Hagel, he developed it in the mid 90s. He put it out throughout the whole state of Nebraska. Then he tested it out. He decided to run for Congress. Nobody knew who the heck Chuck Hagel was. His his treasurer was his business partner at the election machines company. So nobody even knew him. He didn't even have anybody else to be his treasurer other than his business partner. Of course, maybe he wanted to have his business partner be his treasurer because he didn't want anybody to, know what was going on. Anyway, he beats the ex-governor, Ben Nelson, in a landslide using his machines that are now all over the state, and nobody knows who Chuck Hagel is. He'd been in Washington, D.C. for the previous 20 years before he came back to Omaha, Nebraska to build the election machines. Now, those election machines are all over. They talk about Soros, and they talk about Dominion and all these other ones, but you do the research. ES&S is the one that controls most of them. And at one point, ES&S owned all these ones, and they said, "Oh, no, we can't have all the machines in one company." So they split them up, but they might as well be all the same company. They just the names have been changed to protect the innocent. So here's the deal. Came up with a solution, and I hope somebody will get this to the Donald Trump campaign. This will hit. I don't know why I didn't think of this before. I'm sure it was Holy Spirit inspired. I'm just down here on earth biding my time till I get to be up with the big guy upstairs and trying to follow his instructions. A lot of times I get a little arrogant, think I can solve all these things on my own, but you got to bring everything to God. That's the bottom line. In any case, here's the deal. Donald Trump or somebody, maybe it's a secondary party or one of the PACs or somebody's got to set up a website where anybody who voted for Donald Trump after they voted, okay, they can go there, they can put their first initial, last name, and their zip code, okay, and then tally it up. Now, why do you do that? And then also it would be ideal if they'd have a place for them to upload the picture of their ballot. They're going to tell you that it's illegal to take a picture of your ballot. Oh, well, maybe they can make a rule because they don't want to get caught with election fraud, because unless they can prove this is all said and done and they show that there's significant fraud like they did in Washington State, unless Donald Trump can prove that those votes were for him, he can't overturn the elections. They're still going to give it to Hillary. That you have to have proof, specific proof, that not only that the legitimate people voted for you, and then you can't have proof unless you can go back to these people, you can break it down to the precinct level, go back to these people and get a signed affidavit. But ideally, if they've got a picture, that'd be great. And also, if they know that we're doing this, if they know that the Trump campaign is compiling data from all the voters across the country in a database with their first initial, last name, and zip code, because you know what? Once you're registered to vote, guess what? It's public record. They know you already there. So the chances of somebody with this first initial, the same last name, and also being in a zip code, in two people in the same setup like that in the same zip code is slim. And usually they're part of the same family. Maybe you have the same initials as other members, and they can tell you who the other ones are. So maybe you use two initials, maybe use a middle and a first or something like that. In any case, so here's what I'm saying. After the election's over, Hillary Clinton fixes the elections like they've been fixing them for years and years and years. And they're trying to trick you into thinking that she has a legitimate chance of winning by telling you that the polls are close, when it can't even be possibly close. The woman is a certified witch. A witch. She's really a witch. Just come out in WikiLeaks. She worships at Satan. And they have these so ungodly, disgusting, horrific rituals, ingesting feces and all sorts of horrible stuff that you don't even want to go in there to that. I'm not going to go into it. Anyway, bottom line is she's a crook and she's a witch, and we got to stop her. So they fixed the election for her, and then they find lots of voter fraud, which they're already finding. They're finding more people voting than, like they did with Obama. They're finding more people. They'll find more people voted in a precinct than they had registered voters. They'll find the votes that were counted from people that were supposed to be provisional ballots and not counted until they verify that the person actually exists, and it's not just some fraudulent dog, cat, long dead relative, underage child, cartoon character, or an illegal alien, or somebody who moved out of the state. So they'll funnel all those in and say they take it to a judge. I fought an election integrity lawsuit against the now governor of Oregon, former Secretary of State of Oregon. I've a whole day in court, and I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. So they're going to say, the judge will say, well, yeah, there was election fraud, but we don't know how many of the fraudulent votes were for Hillary or for Trump, so we're going to give it to Hillary. Unless you have proof. And so Donald Trump has got to get proof, and he's got to make sure he gets it now. And people have got to know. Take a picture of your ballot. Ask for a paper ballot if you're an electronic voting machine place. And if you're a paper ballot person, just take a picture of it. Don't share it on Facebook necessarily. Just keep your powder dry. And don't advertise it. Do not take pictures of other people voting. That is definitely probably against the law. I'm sure that is. But just take your own. Keep it to yourself. Take your phone out after you've taken a picture of it, because I believe they're changing the votes inside the machine or at the tally machine that tallies them all up once they take the memory cards to the tally machine to tally up the county's total number of votes for each candidate. So here's how Donald Trump gets it after the fact. He goes into counties like they did in Pennsylvania, and if it says 90% of the people in that precinct go to the precinct level, the small precinct level. If 90% of the people in that precinct were supposedly voted for Hillary, and you've got more than 10% of the people that have registered on your website, first initial, last name, and zip code within that precinct, because now people aren't going to remember what precinct they're in. So just zip code. I think you can figure it out by tracing back again. It's public record. It'll take some work, but you can do it. And then you can show that there are more people in that precinct that voted for you than voted for them. That's wrong. And they're not going to have their people taking pictures. You're going to have people taking pictures. So you'll have them sworn testimony and you'll have their picture. So we'll be able to stop her from committing election fraud. So get the word out to everybody you know. Take a picture of your ballot, whether it's on a machine or on a paper. But if you can, without a doubt, most states, like in my county, we have electronic machines. You can ask for a paper ballot. And I've talked to the head of elections there, and she says that they definitely count the votes and they don't wait until the end of the thing. Now, California is all screwed up. I don't know if that'll work. I don't know if it'll work. And Oregon's all paper too. But you need to take a picture of your ballot before you send it in. And then when they come out with the precinct breakdown, that's how we get it. So I'm Lisa Michaels. Thank you for watching my, what is this? This is Periscope. And I'm going to upload this again in my YouTube because I'm going to do this on YouTube. I don't know how to do it live yet, but I'm going to figure it out. Have a blessed day.